Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at the NECA Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin. If you haven't read The Last Ronin, I definitely recommend it. It's very good. First we'll take a look at some of the details. I'm a fan of this look for Raphael. I like the way all the turtles look in The Last Ronin. I think they look pretty cool with their extra armor and gear on. The figure overhaul has a nice matte finish for the most part. There's a lot of paint everywhere, both front and back. One minor issue with the paint on mine, the black outline on the mask on this side is much darker and further below the mask than it is on this side. This side it almost doesn't have any below the mask here. This one's very heavy. I don't think it's super noticeable when he's at a distance. But you can also see the shading here is just slightly above the mask. I think when this side got painted, the lines just got shifted up and got a little askew there, unfortunately. I think this is a pretty good head sculpt. He's got a lot of these black lines all over him to make him look more comic-y, cell shaded. His chest and back are both kind of rubbery soft material. The little pouches are done very well. Like there's a couple different browns here, so he's not just all one color. And there's some weathering and shading going on, like you can see up here. There's some light and dark browns. The forearms and hands are maybe the best painted part. I really like the way it's got the light brown highlights on there. That looks really good. Got some marks on his side here as well, where that peeks out. This side has a couple more pouches. His elbow pads are also a soft material. The shell looks really nice. Lots of paint back here as well. Mine's missing just a tiny spot there. It's got some little tatters hanging off. Mine does have a couple shiny spots on the figure, like on the top of the head here there's a couple shiny spots. And then on the back of the shell here there's one shiny spot. So I don't think those are intentional just because they're kind of random. They're not super noticeable and don't stand out a ton though. On the legs he's got an asymmetric design, which I always enjoy. One little holster hole here for a weapon. On the back there's also two holes to hold the weapons. Then at the knees, once again these are soft. So we'll scooch out the way. And then the feet and shins are painted just like the forearms and hands. And those look really good as well. It's got a couple more armor bits on the top of the feet there. You can see his toenails are outlined. A slightly different green for the toenails. So yeah, overall for the aesthetics, I think he looks great. Just a couple minor issues on mine, but I don't think those will be on everyone's. That just depends on what kind of QC you get on your specific figure. For accessories, he comes with an alternate yelling head. The black lines on this one are painted much better on mine. I think this is sculpted really nicely. Actually, it looks like he's yelling. Sometimes that can be an issue with the yelling heads where it kind of just looks like the character has their mouth open and they aren't really yelling. I like the way the tongue's kind of flicked up a little bit. The teeth are sculpted nicely. Yeah, that looks really good. He has fist hands that come on him in the package. Some wide open hands, gripping hands, and then another set of gripping hands where the palm's more open for holding the sai. Speaking of which, he comes with a pair of sai. These are sculpted well. They look nice and pointy. They have a good silver finish on them. And they do fit in the hands, but it's pretty snug. It does splay out these two pointy bits a little bit. So I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to fit in or those were going to break at first. I did try to heat up the other one, but it doesn't seem like these are made out of plastic that's receptive to being heated, because once heated this kind of just bent at like a 45-degree angle all of a sudden. I had a heck of a time trying to get it straightened back out. Now it has a little kink in it, but it's not terrible when it's further away. It's just when it's up close it's very noticeable. It also comes with this triangular blade, and this can fit between the fingers of the more closed gripping hand pretty well. And he also comes with an arrow. On to articulation. He has a double ball peg at the neck. However, that does sit pretty far up into the head. So with that, he's able to look up this much, down this much. He has a bit of tilt, And that double ball peg does let you get a little bit of more nuanced movement, so that's nice. The headband is on a swivel, so you can move that around, make it look like it's flowing in whichever direction. The shoulders will move out almost to 90 degrees, not quite. They're a little tight. And those will rotate. There's a bicep swivel, but it is pretty snug, so it's not going to swivel a ton. Oh, I lied. Mine was just stuck. So it'll swivel a lot. This one, okay, also need to be broken loose. It's double jointed elbows. I thought they'd be limited because of the elbow pad here, but they actually get pretty good range. Then at the wrists, all of these are unfortunately horizontal hinges, no vertical hinges for the weapon holding hands. So I definitely would have preferred vertical hinges for the gripping hands, but I'll make do. At the torso, there is a joint somewhere in here. I'm not really sure what kind it is. It kind of just gets a little bit of wiggle. You kind of scooch him a little bit more forward in the shell or back in the shell, but it's not a ton, and doesn't really feel like he leans side to side on it. For the hips, they'll move out about that much. The shell is soft, so it'll flex a little bit, so you can kind of force it past that, but that's kind of where they'll go naturally and spring back to. Those are connected by ball pegs with little flat, like faceted edges. So because of those flat edges, it almost has like a slight ratcheting going forward and back. And because of that, it feels like the leg is either there or locked to there, like not really in between. You can kind of like finagle it to get like in between the edge of that joint, but kind of wish it was just a regular ball peg. So going forward, not a ton of range. And going back, we'll kick back just a little bit. It does have a thigh swivel. And then at the knee, it's a double jointed knee, but there's also another joint here. This is like a straight peg going into the thigh. And because of this straight peg, there's another swivel here, but it is a little bit loose. So this swivel here is a tad bit looser than I would like. I might try to tighten that up a bit. But with the double jointed knee, you get, well, if I didn't pull his leg off, decent range there. And then the ankles will move forward this much, back this much, and there is an ankle rocker. For size and comparisons, he's standing at about 6 inches tall. Here he is with the NECA movie Raphael and Splinter. Here he is with the Figura Obscura Mask of the Red Death from Four Horsemen and the Marvel Legends Nightcrawler. And here he is with the Noto Wukong and V-Toys Asura. So overall, it's not the most articulated figure, but it does look really good. The sculpt is great, the paint is great, it's got a lot of shading. I like all the little black lines to make it look more cel shaded, and all those are sculpted in as well. I think if you want a hyper articulated Ninja Turtle, this isn't going to be the one. But if you want one that looks cool on the shelf, and you're a fan of the Last Ronin, then this one's going to be great. I'm probably going to end up picking up the other turtles and maybe Splinter. I like their looks in the Last Ronin, and I saw them on display at PowerCon, and the rest of them looked really good as well. Currently, Leonardo and Master Splinter are up for pre-order on the NECA store. There's also a variant of Raphael with a different paint scheme. If you haven't read The Last Ronin, maybe don't go look at the Raphael one until you have, because it might be a bit of spoilers in some manner. But let me know if you want to see me review that one or not. I think it looks pretty cool as well. Overall, I think as long as you know you're not going to get a ton of articulation out of this, I would recommend it if you're a fan of The Last Ronin or you just like the way this guy looks. But if you want a hyper-articulated turtle, maybe not the one for you. So let me know in the comments if you plan on buying this figure or any of the other Last Ronin figures. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.